Good afternoon, children. The topic for our previous class was subphylum Vertebrata. We were discussing about the different classes coming under subphylum Vertebrata, and you learned that subphylum Vertebrata, it's divided into Agnatha and Gnathostomata. And under Agnatha, one class is included. Which is that class, Nevin? The single class coming under Agnatha. Nandana? Yes. Nandana, I can hear you, but say it clearly. Yes.
Cyclostomata.
Cyclostomata is the single class coming under Agnatha. And then we learned about the next division, that is Gnathostomata, which are having jaws. And Gnathostomata, they are broadly divided into two super classes, Pisces and Tetrapoda. And we were learning about the classifications or the classes coming under Pisces. And we learned that it is divided into Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. I think we were learning about, or we were discussing the points coming under Chondrichthyes, isn't it? So Chondrichthyes, can you tell me a few points what we have covered? Gayatri, just one point we finished under that one. Chondrichthyes.
Streamlined.
Streamlined body. What is the basic feature? Why do you call them as Chondrichthyes?
They are predaceous.
No, my question is, we have classified fishes into two types, Osteichthyes and Chondrichthyes. What is the criteria for classifying them into two?
They have cartilage,
they have a cartilaginous endoskeleton. So their structure or the skeleton is made up of cartilage. Whereas in Osteichthyes, they have got a bony skeleton. Okay, let's learn more about Chondrichthyes. These points we had seen, their habitat is marine. The members, they are having a cartilaginous skeleton and the body is streamlined, tapering at both ends so that they can swim easily in water. Then their skin is tough and it is provided with placoid scales. Already we learned about placoid scales, and these are very hard spine-like structures. As you can see in the figure, it is arising from a round basal plate. In that slide on the right hand side, you can see the picture of placoid scales. These are pointed spine-like structures and they are arranged in backward direction. Backwardly directed spines, spine-like structure, and you can see, as you can see in the picture, it is arising from a basal rounded or rhombus. To show the shape, they have called it as a basal rhomboidal plate, like a rhombus, or even in some textbook it is given as basal round plate. So arising from the basal round plate, you can find some spine-like structures which form the placoid scales. And the mode of nutrition, they are having powerful jaws. Using that, they carry out predation. Mouth is on the ventral side. Mouth is located on the ventral side. You know that the body has got two parts, upper dorsal and lower ventral. So their mouth is located on the ventral side, and the teeth provided. So they have teeth, and these teeth are actually modified scales. Placoid scales have got modified into teeth, and these are backwardly directed. So in their mouth, it is placed in the backward direction. So once again, we'll sum up the points. And one more point, they, just like any other fishes, they also breathe with the help of gills. And here the gill slits are separated and they don't have an operculum or a gill cover to cover the gills. So once again, the different points, they are found in marine habitat. The most important feature is that their skeleton is made up of cartilage. And the body is streamlined to enable easy movement through water, and body is covered with placoid scales. It's a very important point because the type of scales found in bony fishes are different. So it is mostly placoid scales are mostly found in cartilaginous fishes. And the mode of nutrition, they are predators. They prey upon other organisms, and to enable them to carry out this mode of nutrition, powerful jaws are present, and they have got a ventral mouth, and the teeth are arranged in the backward direction in the mouth. The teeth are actually modified placoid scales, and gills are the respiratory organs. Then here they don't have a swim bladder or air bladder is absent in them, whereas it is present in bony fishes. The swim bladder or air bladder is absent, and because of the absence, actually this air bladder will help them to prevent from sinking when they are not swimming. So because they don't have an air bladder, they have to swim continuously. So an air bladder is absent in cartilaginous fishes. To compensate for that, they will continue to swim to prevent it from sinking. And heart is two-chambered. All the fishes, they have two chambers in their heart, one auricle and one ventricle. Auricle is same as atrium. In 10th standard, you have learned it is atria, atrium. Auricle and atrium both are same. So they have one auricle or one atrium and one ventricle. And some of these cartilaginous fishes, they have some special adaptations. You can see two organisms. One is torpedo and the other one is stingray. Torpedo, they are provided with electric organs, so which can emit electric current. So they are provided with some electric organs. In the figure, you can see that violet color on either side. Left electric organ, right electric organ. It's marked in the figure. So they have a pair of electric organs on either side, and this is meant for capturing the prey and for defending themselves from the predators. So this electric organ, so with the help of electric organs, they can emit electric rays which will protect them from the predators, and even capturing the prey also it is useful. Then the stingray, that also you can say they are provided with some poisonous sting. They are capable of, they are having a poisonous sting. With the help of that, they can escape from there, or it is actually defensive. They are, this particular sting, it is defensive in function. To protect themselves, they use this poisonous sting. So these are some special adaptations found in some of the cartilaginous fishes. Presence of electric organs which can emit electric current, and the next one is presence of a poisonous sting in stingray. And electric ray or the torpedo, they can emit around 8 to 220 volt of current. So that voltage current they are capable of emitting, and this is mainly for defensive function and for capturing the prey. And they are poikilothermic. Poikilothermic means they are cool-blooded, and homeothermic you call for warm-blooded animals. So they are poikilothermous or poikilothermic, which means they are cold-blooded. Cold-blooded animals are those animals which cannot, or their body temperature keeps fluctuating with the surrounding temperature. Next is about reproduction. Sexes are separate, means male and female individuals are different. In males, pelvic fin are provided with claspers. Certain special structures are present attached to the pelvic fin, pectoral fin, pelvic fin, caudal fin. So depending upon the position of these fins, we name it as pelvic, pectoral, caudal fin, etc. And pelvic fins are provided with claspers, and these claspers help them in carrying out reproduction or for the mating purpose. Internal fertilization, and many of the members, or you can are viviparous. So generally we say fishes, they lay eggs, but here majority of them are viviparous, means they give birth to their young ones. Examples coming under this category is Scoliodon and Pristis. Scoliodon is what you see in the first figure, and in the second one you can see Pristis or sowfish. Because of the long snout which is resembling a sow, we call it as sowfish. So that was about Chondrichthyes. Once again, we'll summarize all the points starting from the beginning. The habitat, so we'll see the points once again. Marine habitat, and the most important feature is they have got a endoskeleton which is made up of cartilage. Body is streamlined or tapering at both ends so that they can swim easily in water, and their skin is tough and covered with placoid scales. Placoid scales are spiny, pointed, and they arise from a basal round plate. And the mode of nutrition is by preying upon other organisms, or else they are predaceous. And to facilitate this predaceous habit, they have powerful jaws. And mouth is ventral, ventrally placed mouth, and mouth is provided with the teeth. Teeth are actually modified placoid scales which are arranged in the backward direction. And they respire with the help of gills. And the absence of air bladder is another important feature found in Chondrichthyes. So to compensate for that, they have to swim continuously to prevent it from sinking. Heart is two-chambered with one auricle and one ventricle, and some of the members are having some specialized structures like a torpedo provided with electric organs which can generate electricity of around 8 to 20 volts. Then stingray is capable of a poisonous sting. Both will enable, or both are helpful in defensive function. And they are cold-blooded or poikilothermous, which means the body temperature fluctuates with the surrounding temperature. Then we learned about reproduction. So the last slide was about the method of reproduction. Here the sexes are separate, and to enable mating, the male fishes are provided with claspers on their pelvic fin. Fertilization is internal, and many of them are viviparous. And examples include Scoliodon, Pristis, and you can even tell the examples of torpedo and stingray. All these are different examples for Chondrichthyes. So before we proceed to the next one, let me see how far you have understood Chondrichthyes. So please summarize the points. Sharon, just start.
Members have endoskeleton, cartilaginous skeleton and streamlined body.
Okay, streamlined body. Then Sanya can't speak, no? Nidhi, another point. Yeah, I can't hear. Oh,
Backward direction.
what is in backward direction? What is present in backward direction? Teeth is backwardly directed. What are teeth actually modified? Modified placoid scales. Vidur, another point.
They have tough skin with minute placoid scales.
They have got a tough skin covered with placoid scales. Nandana, another point.
Gills.
Oh, pardon?
They respire.
They respire.
Through gills.
Okay, respire with the help of gills. Steffi, another point.
They have to swim continuously to avoid sinking because they do not have an air bladder.
Okay, because they don't have an air bladder. Then another point, Lydia.
Ma'am,
Louder. Lydia, I didn't hear you. Some of them are having electric organs. Which is that fish having electric organs? Lydia, torpedo is provided with one example for a cartilaginous fish having electric organ is torpedo. Any other point regarding reproduction? Nevin?
Sexes are separate.
Sexes are
Not lay
separate.
eggs.
I didn't get it. Once again?
They do not lay eggs.
We can't say they do not lay eggs. Many of them, majority of them are viviparous, giving birth to their young ones. So let us continue with the next class. That is Osteichthyes. Osteichthyes, starting with their habitat, you can find them both in marine and freshwater. But when we discussed about Chondrichthyes, we learned they are found only in marine habitat. Bony fishes you can find both in marine and freshwater habitat. Here the endoskeleton is bony, whereas it was cartilaginous in the case of Chondrichthyes. Streamlined body, that is common for both, streamlined body. Then in cartilaginous fishes we learned they are having ventral mouth. But here the mouth is terminal at the tip, neither ventral nor dorsal, it is at the tip, terminal mouth. Body is covered with cycloid scales or ctenoid scales. Whereas in cartilaginous fishes, we learned about placoid scales. Here they are provided either with cycloid or ctenoid scales. So cycloid scales, they will look somewhat like this. So these are cycloid scales. They are circular in outline. And you can see concentric lines like this. These are cycloid scales. Whereas ctenoid scales, they are also circular, but they have a comb-like appearance. They are having a comb-like appearance. So cycloid and ctenoid scales. So the first one, what I have drawn is cycloid, circular in outline, whereas ctenoid scales, they are also circular, but they have a comb-like appearance. Okay, with the teeth, or you can see some spiny structures which gives it a comb-like appearance. So these are the two types of scales which you find in bony fishes, whereas placoid scales are found in cartilaginous fishes. If we are asked to list some differences, all these are what we have listed, so many differences now itself about its habitat, about the endoskeleton, position of the mouth, the type of scales. So all these were differences. Here the body is covered by cycloid or ctenoid scales, whereas in cartilaginous fishes, their body was covered with placoid scales. Body, already this we saw. Next one, respiratory organ consists of 4 pairs of gills. They have 4 pairs of gills, and here there is a presence of an operculum or gill cover, but this was absent in cartilaginous fishes. And here air bladder is present, giving it buoyancy, allowing it to float on water without sinking. But these two were absent in cartilaginous fishes. And the similarity, two-chambered heart in both of them, whether it is cartilaginous or bony fishes, both of them have two chambers in their heart. Both of them are poikilothermous or cold-blooded. So once again, we will see the points. The habitat, the first point is about the habitat. The habitat, what did we say about the habitat? It is found both in marine and freshwater habitat. The skeleton is bony, endoskeleton is bony, and then they have got a streamlined body with a terminal mouth. Body is covered by cycloid or ctenoid scales. Respiratory organ consists of 4 pairs of gills covered by operculum. An air bladder is present which enable them to swim or float on water without sinking or gives them buoyancy. Heart is two-chambered and they are poikilothermic. So some point of differences are, the first point, habitat. Chondrichthyes in marine habitat, Osteichthyes in both freshwater and marine habitat. Chondrichthyes have got a cartilaginous endoskeleton, whereas Osteichthyes have got a bony skeleton. And both of them are having streamlined body. The mouth is ventral in Chondrichthyes, terminal in Osteichthyes. And body is covered by placoid scales in Chondrichthyes and covered by ctenoid or cycloid scales in Osteichthyes. Operculum is absent in Chondrichthyes but present in Osteichthyes. And air bladder absent in Chondrichthyes, present in Osteichthyes. Heart is two-chambered and they are cold-blooded. Both of them are cold-blooded and the heart is provided with 2 chambers. Got it? Yes, children? Tell me the differences, what you have learned about Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. Gayatri?
Their skeleton is made up of cartilage, and Osteichthyes, it's a bony skeleton. They have a bony skeleton.
Okay, one more difference.
This air bladder is present, but in Chondrichthyes, the air bladder is absent.
Absent. Okay. Vidur?
Habitat is marine in
Chondrichthyes. And in Osteichthyes?
habitat is both marine and freshwater.
One more point. Tell about the scales and mouth.
They have in Chondrichthyes they have streamlined body,
What type of scales?
placoid scales.
Whereas in Osteichthyes?
It is streamlined body with a terminal mouth.
When you are saying about scales, tell about both. How the scales are in both organisms. It should be related. Placoid scales in Chondrichthyes, and here they have what type of scales? Nevin, what type of scales are found in Osteichthyes?
Ctenoid, right?
Ctenoid or cycloid scales. So again we'll continue. Next is about the method of reproduction. Sexes are separate. External fertilization, not it. There we learned it is internal fertilization. In Chondrichthyes we learned internal fertilization. Here the fertilization is external, mostly oviparous. So many differences are there between Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. We learned most of them are viviparous in the case of Chondrichthyes. Here majority of them are oviparous. Direct development, no larval stage is involved. Examples include hippocampus or seahorse, Rohu or labio, Exocetus or flying fish. So there are many examples. So these are some of the examples listed in your textbook. And do you know a curious fact about our seahorse? Anybody? Have you heard anything about seahorse? Nobody?
The males give what?
Males? Okay, no problem, Sania. Okay, the interesting fact about that is the female will release their eggs into an abdominal pouch which is present in males. Males are having an abdominal pouch, and into this abdominal pouch, female will release their eggs. And as and when the eggs enter, the males will release the sperms, and fertilization takes place, and the eggs which are formed will be incubated in this abdominal pouch, or this will be the pregnancy will be carried, or these eggs will be carried by the males until it hatches out for almost 24 days. That can fluctuate, but approximately 24 days it will incubate the eggs until the young ones come out of these abdominal pouch. That is a curious fact about hippocampus or seahorse. It comes under Ostictus. And Exocetus, flying fish. As you can see in the picture, this fish is having wing-like fins, which it is spreading and flying. But flying, when I say, you should not compare it to a bird. Just like a bird, it is not capable of flying, but still it can glide. For long distances, it is able to, long distances it can cover above the surface of water with the help of this fins which are resembling wings. Actually, it is not flying. You can say they can glide over the surface of water. So certain distances they are able to cover with the help of this. You call it as Exocetus or flying fish. You can see it flying, spreading the wing-like fins. So some examples for bony fishes. The normal fishes which you know, sardine, mackerel, Etroplus, all are coming under this category only. But some of the examples which are listed in your textbook, I also have shown over here. Okay, so these are some of the examples for bony fishes. Now let us move on to the next class. So next we have to learn about tetrapods. Already we learned about Pisces and the two types, Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes in detail, its method of reproduction, characteristic features, all that we have covered. Now we have to learn about the next superclass, that is Tetrapoda. So hope you are remembering the classification and categorization under Gnathostomata. We learned about two superclasses. One was Pisces provided with fins, and the second one was tetrapods having limbs. So we completed the first one, which includes fishes. Now we are moving on to tetrapods. Tetrapods include 4 classes, as you can see in the picture. Which are those 4 classes? Amphibia, reptilia, birds or aves and mammalia. Amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammalia. As the name suggests, amphibia includes amphibians, reptilia includes reptiles, aves include birds, and mammalia includes mammals. So one by one, we will see the different classes. I think it's already 2:20. So next period, one more period we have, no? Is it the time to wind up, children? Is it 2:20? One more minute. 4:20 we have a period. So during that time, we will discuss more about tetrapoda. So about reproduction, method of reproduction in Osteichthyes. What did we discuss? Nevin? Method of reproduction. Under reproduction, what all points we discussed? Sexes are separate. Then, one more point.
Fertilization is external.
Louder.
Fertilization is external.
Fertilization is external. Michael, next point. Michael, are you there? Meenakshi, are you there? Michael,
ma'am.
Meenakshi, Rijaz, Nidhi and Evelyn, give me the reason why your videos are off.
Ma'am, network connection is low.
And Michael? Your network connection is also low. Nidhi and Rijaz. Evelyn.
Ma'am,
Even before me asking, you can leave a message in the group so that we don't have to waste time for that. Michael, tell me the answer. So 2 points Nevin said, sexes are separate, fertilization is external. What else we learned under reproduction? I can't hear you. Meenakshi can tell the next point. Michael, try once again. Wait, Meenakshi. Meenakshi, 1 minute. Just try once again, Michael. Unmute and see. Michael, I have unmuted you. Speak. They are mostly oviparous. Okay. You have sent the message. Meenakshi, next point.
Direct development.
What do you mean by direct development, Meenakshi? Okay. So we'll continue next class. Thank you, children.